I went away for a week recently, and I didn't really spend much time on my phone or online at all. And honestly, coming back from that has felt really strange in the best way. I think when you spend so much time consuming content every day, you almost stop hearing your own thoughts properly. You start feeling like you constantly need more clothes, more products, more things to buy, more aesthetics to chase. And when I stepped away from all of that for a little while, I realized how much of it I didn't actually want or need. Being away and spending more time outside really brought me back to myself, back to nature, back to slower mornings, back to simple things. This morning I went out and collected these little dandelions from the field nearby, and I know they're just tiny wildflowers that most people walk past, but it felt really grounding, just making something nourishing from what's already around me instead of constantly looking for the next thing to consume. Lately I've been feeling really drawn to creating more instead of consuming more, working on the garden, planting things, learning about herbs and flowers, cooking slowly, filming little moments instead of rushing through life all the time. I think I want this space and these videos to become more about that feeling, romanticizing simple things, finding magic in ordinary mornings, creating a home and garden that feels alive and peaceful and a little bit wild. There's something about working with the earth that brings me back to myself. I think so much of modern life pulls us away from our natural rhythms. We spend so much time consuming, scrolling, absorbing everyone else's thoughts that eventually it becomes difficult to hear our own. But gardening feels different. It asks me to slow down, to pay attention, to be patient. There's something comforting about tending to living things, watching them grow slowly, quietly, in their own time. I've started dreaming of turning this little space into an apothecary garden, a place filled with herbs, flowers, wild scents and things with purpose. Somewhere I can come to create, to learn, to feel connected again, not just to nature, but to myself. And I think that's what I've been craving lately, a slower, more intentional life. One where creativity doesn't come from constant stimulation, but from silence, seasons, soil, rituals, and small everyday moments. And maybe that's why this feels so grounding to me, because when my hands are in the earth, everything else becomes quiet for a little while. I think one of the reasons I'm drawn to the woods so much is because they remind me to pay attention again, to notice small things, the sound of water moving over stones, sunlight through the trees, the smell of wild garlic in the air, things I would probably miss completely if my mind was elsewhere. Spending time in nature always seems to pull me out of my head and back into my senses. And after spending so much time online, consuming constant information and noise, I think that feeling becomes even more important. There's something really healing about being somewhere that doesn't expect anything from you. The woods don't care if I'm productive. They don't care if I'm creating enough or keeping up with everything happening online. They just exist quietly, and somehow that helps me to slow down too. I always leave feeling calmer, more creative, and more connected to myself again, like my mind has finally had room to breathe. I've started bringing my journal out into the woods with me lately, and I think it's become one of the few places where my thoughts feel completely clear. At home it's so easy to get distracted or pulled into doing something else, but out here with nothing but the sound of water, birds and wind through the trees, it feels easier to slow down enough to actually listen to myself. Sometimes I'll write pages, and sometimes I'll just sit quietly for a while without saying anything at all. I think journaling in nature feels different because it brings me back into the present moment. I notice more, I reflect more honestly, and ideas seem to come naturally when my mind isn't overwhelmed with constant noise and information. It almost feels less like forcing creativity and more like making space for it to return on its own.